It is Fireball Friday, and I am a few Fireball teas in. Let's talk about some crypto and get into it. What is going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. I know Dan's here. That's cool. I got a couple of things I want to talk about, but nothing totally really planned or scripted or anything like that. I am, like I said, I'm a few Fireballs and teas in, so I'm feeling all right. It's Friday. I'm happy. So I don't know. I don't even know what the market's doing. I haven't even looked. I have no idea. Doesn't matter. Anyway. All right, so let's cover a few things here. So I mentioned earlier this week, I actually had, or actually it might have been last night, I don't know, I don't remember, but I had mentioned that Hashrate OS was going to be integrated with ZelCore wallet. So it looks like, this is going to be integrated in the ZelCore wallet and support full control and monitoring of your rigs from within the ZelCore wallet. And if you're wondering what ZelCore wallet is, it looks kind of like this. This is a desktop version. Actually, this is the portable desktop, and it looks pretty much the same on mobile, but they are going to they have an upgrade coming out, or an update coming out, version 3. Supposed to look a little different. Even though this is beautiful, it's actually supposed to be better than this, so I think that's kind of cool. And Hashrate OS is going to be integrated into the wallet. Now, I've been racking my brain. I've been trying to figure out, okay, because I like to really deep think. I like to think things really, I like to think things through, and I'm trying to figure out all the features and things that could be implemented with that type of integration. One of them is definitely having the OS mine to the wallets, the assets that are in the wallet itself already, right? So ZelCore wallet, it's a multi-asset wallet. It has a lot of different assets in there. I want to say there's over 100. It's basically a lot of ERC20 tokens on the Ethereum network. And then there's quite a few proof of work stuff. There's even Ravencoin, which has asset layer support, which is awesome. So there's all these things that could be integrated with the wallet and an OS. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it, the whole thing, because it seems very revolutionary, right? Like, this is something that seems no one's ever done that before that I know of. That's huge, right? So I think it's going to be super interesting to watch this unfold. I don't know if Hashrate OS is going to be integrated into version 3 of the ZelCore wallet. I don't know. That's probably what they're working on. If I was to guess, that's what it's going to actually be in the version 3 that they're supposed to release fairly soon, I believe. The developers have been, teasing some screenshots and stuff like that, and there's been some screenshots on, like the ZelCore, what's it called? The podcast. I can't remember what it's called. ZelCore. It's not ZelCore podcast, but whatever the podcast is for ZelCore. I don't remember what it is right now. But anyway, so they've teased some screenshots and some things, with how the ZelCore wallet is supposed to look. So having think about this. So a mining OS is going to be integrated inside of a multi-asset wallet. That's already awesome, right? The ZelCore wallet is incredible. That's kind of neat. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's probably I'm probably missing something, because I can't wrap my head around all the different features that it could offer, right? I've been thinking about it. Not a whole lot, but I have been thinking about it. So if you guys can think of different features or different capabilities that it could offer, And it might be as simple as just having the OS accessible from within the ZelCore wallet. The OS as it is, hash rate OS, is not bad, right? So, you know, if you could just have this integrated, I think they are working on some enhancements as far as the interface goes. So if you could have this just integrated into the wallet, and then on the back end, whenever you're talking about, you know, integrated into ZelCore wallet, and then over here, whenever you click on wallets, you know, having this be ZelCore addresses, right, for the different assets, I would assume that that would be fairly simple, not simple to do, but that would be a definite, easily guessable integration, right? So I'm looking for things outside of that. I want to see what they're going to do with this, because it seems, because it's never been done before that I know of, it seems very revolutionary, you know, innovative, and all those really cool terms whenever it comes to stuff like this. So I think that's really neat. I'm really excited and really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be something to really keep your eye on. And, you know, another thing it's going to offer is that there's not going to be a reason, because the way that ZelCore operates on the back end, you don't have to download full blockchains. You don't have to download, you know, all the files and run those full nodes unless you want to. But you're not going to have all these different wallets on your computer like normal home miners do, right? Hobby miners have a dozen different wallets, you know, or more, you know, downloaded to their computer. They're running full nodes whenever they launch the wallet, so on and so forth, right? And then that's what you mine to, and then you check it from time to time, make sure that your rewards are being distributed accurately, or, you know, at all, right, from the pool. So it's just one of those things. Now, in this case, it looks like, you know, you're just going to have all access to all that and not have to worry about all those different wallets. And I think that's a big plus right there. That's a simple plus for this whole integration thing. I don't know. I think it's going to be cool. I'm keeping my eye on it. I don't know. I would like to know a little bit more details about it. I would love to know your thoughts on, you know, what you think the possibilities are with this whole integration thing. I think it's super cool. There's no doubt. Let me check the chat, see what you guys are up to over here. What's up, Crypto Mikkel, Dan? Thanks for tuning in. Not many people in here, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. Small crowd type stuff. But yeah, this is a huge development. Pretty cool integration and stuff. I'm looking forward to it. So the next thing I want to talk about, you know, one of my favorite projects is Zel. You guys know that if you watch the channel at all. They're really, and this goes along with the whole hash rate integration and all that stuff. They're really active on the development side. They've already got a great wallet, which I talked about earlier. They're looking to make it better with version 3. So pretty cool stuff going on with Zel and the whole integration thing, and working with small projects on the ZelLabsPools or pool. Really cool stuff from this particular project. I really dig Zel. And ZelCore is the wallet of the Zel network. It uses familiar Logon credentials, and this is one thing that actually me and Crypto Z from AIONPOOL.tech, or AIONPOOL, I think they're just known as now. You know, he kind of offered up some very legitimate concerns regarding the way that ZelCore does their credentials, their Logon credentials. So I wanted to kind of cover it a little bit to kind of ease that, what's that called? Trepidation, I think. Ease that concern over, because the way that it's implemented, you feel like your username and password are stored on the central server, and they are not. Okay, so I wanted to kind of clear this up with exactly how this works, right? I think it's important because ZelCore is a project that I've followed for a long time, and I know that they're not just doing things and you know, they're not being shady. Okay, so ZelCore is the multi-asset wallet of the Zell network. It uses familiar logon credentials of username and passwords that people are used to, right? So that's one of the problems with blockchain technology is, you know, having a mnemonic seed or a private key. These things are not easily remembered. There are people that do remember them, but they're not easy to remember. But people do remember usernames and passwords because they've been doing it for a very long time. So Zell has actually implemented that, but made it secure, right? So, you know, like I was saying, crypto is very secure, but the mechanisms that do so are not easy to remember. Your seeds, your private keys. In ZelCore, you have a username and password that are a double hash of the username and password with a random data called salts. So it's got some random data. I think it's on both ends of your username and password, and then that is all hashed together to create a master key for the entire wallet. And that's used to generate private keys for each wallet, each asset that you have in the wallet. That's how you get your private keys for those assets. All these hashing functions occur on the device running ZelCore. So nothing is stored remotely on a server or anything like that. This whole system is called Zell ID. And from their website here, I think it says right here, yeah, the user should select login credentials that are sufficiently long, not personally identifying or easily guessed, and not used for other services in case of past, future data breaches of these services. So what that means is, with ZelCore, even your username, okay, so listen to how this works, right? And I've mentioned this before with ZelCore. So your username and password are what's hashed together with some salts on both ends. I think it's on both ends, like some random characters or numbers. And then that is hashed together to create your private key that is then used to create private keys for all the assets in your wallet. Okay. So if you think about that, if someone can easily guess your username, then they actually have about half of your login credentials right there, right? And this happens a lot with usernames and passwords in other systems, right? You know, people can easily guess your username for some things, right? So what I'm saying is, and what they're recommending here is that your username and password should both be protected very securely. And they should be complex. They should be not easily guessed because it is literally your private key. So that's like the danger of ZelCore wallet, is that right there, because people are going to assume that their username isn't really that important and that the password is what is important. But in the case of ZelCore wallet, both the username and password are, I'm not going to say equally important, but they're very close, because if you have one of those, then you have half of the solution to gain the hash. Now, there's other security features in there, okay, because of the salts on each side and all that stuff. Okay, great. But they do want you to have a somewhat complex, not easily guessed username, which is a little out of character for most projects or most systems that require username and password. So, yeah, cool stuff. Just keep that in mind. You know, and I've actually made the mistake on this particular stream where I want to say that there were times where I logged on to ZelCore, like on the screen, so you knew what my username was, right? That's horrible OPSEC, okay? So I've changed it all now. It's not a big deal, but just keep that in mind. You don't want to disclose even your username in the Zell environment. It should be protected. And probably in any environment, right? If you want to be really secure, you don't want anybody to know even your username. But if they know, like, okay, so like if a system knows, or if a system uses your email address, for example, right, as the logon credentials, and you have used that email address for other systems, or you have emailed a customer or a contact using that email address, and they know that you use a particular system, then they probably already have your username, right? So this all goes back to OPSEC and taking, being private and all that stuff. So I just want to bring that up. Anyway, I don't know. I could go on and on about that. I don't really want to though, because let's get back to the topics here. So the ZelCore system itself has 2 additional layers of security. They are called D2FA, Decentralized Two-Factor Authentication, and Easy Login. Those are the 2 additional things. And the D2FA, if you set up the D2FA on a device, and you should, then that actually follows the account. So for example, if you have D2FA on your ZelCore wallet on your desktop, even if it's mobile or portable, or the actual installed version, if you have registered those accounts on a mobile wallet, for example, or if you have registered that account on a mobile wallet, then that D2FA, that PIN number that they're talking about right here, is going to follow that account from device to device if you're logging on with the same username and the same password. And this is one of the hang-ups of the whole ZelCore wallet thing. Is like, let's say that you've got it on desktop and you're maybe using the portable like I am. The portable version, it's just an exe, it just runs, there's no install. But then you want to use that same account on a mobile. Well, after you download the ZelCore wallet, you have to register the account, and it kind of throws people off a little bit, right? That whole thing is like, wait a minute, why do I have to register? Why can't I just log on to my account on the ZelCore mobile wallet, the same one that I'm using over here? And that's why, is because you have to register, because all the encryption and all that stuff goes on the device. It happens on the device itself. So this PIN is encrypted, hashed and salted, and then added to the blockchain, right? So that's why it follows you from device to device. If you register the same username and password on multiple devices, then that D2FA is going to follow you through those devices. And it kind of throws you for a loop a little bit, because you're like, wait a minute, how does it know that? But if you think about what's happening, because you're talking to the ZelCore or the Zel network, right? That blockchain is where your credentials are. So that's why you have to register the account on the device so that it can do all the hashing and the encrypting, and pass your credentials to the blockchain and all that stuff, so that you can actually see your assets. So that's the way that works. And doing the setting up or deactivating 2FA, I think it costs something like 0.0002 Zel, something like that. And it's not, that's just a one-time thing, setting it up or deactivating. So it just costs a little bit of Zel. And then the easy logon, the other logon feature here, is where you can actually use the capabilities of your mobile device, or your whatever the device is, maybe it's an iPad or whatever. You can use the additional security features of that device, like fingerprint, iris scanning, whatever it has, to actually, even if it's a passphrase or whatever, like ghosts in here or something, whatever it is, whatever those capabilities are, you can use those in addition to the ZelCore credentials. So you can use the biometrics, that are available on your device to add just another layer of security to your logon credentials. So pretty cool stuff. If you haven't checked out ZelCore or Zel or the wallet or any of that stuff yet, then I encourage you to do so. I am literally just talking about the project. I am not sponsored in any way whatsoever by Zel. I just like them. I think that there's a solid small cap or micro cap project, and that's it. So if you look at their tips and recommendations, you can see in here that they talk about, you know, basically kind of what I was saying about the username and password. Also about the password and username being stored locally, so it follows you. The ZelCore, if you use the same credentials, what is really super cool about ZelCore is if you use the same credentials and you register them on multiple devices, then you'll get the same balances for your assets on all those devices. So it's super cool. That's one of the things early on it's actually, it sounds a little unsafe because people are used to having multiple wallets, and that adds a layer of security because they have some over here and some over there on the mobile, some on the desktop, some on the laptop, whatever. But the way that this works, it's so secure with the username and password, salts, hashed, all that stuff added, D2FA, you know, ID, easy login, you know, if you have that set up. So all that added to the blockchain, super secure. As long as you protect your username and password, you should be good. But being able to see that on all the different devices with one username and one password is awesome, in my opinion. So love that feature. So it talks about here, you know, if you suspect your login credentials might have been compromised, to make sure that you transfer them to another username and password, another device, not another device, but another account, right? It's talking about never download ZelCore from any sources. We talk about this all the time on the channel about being secure and not downloading malicious wallets and things like that. Make sure that you get them from authorized sources, and also check their SHA-256 hash if they have it. I wouldn't download a wallet that doesn't provide it from the developers, but at that point you are also trusting the developers. If the developer is the one giving you the SHA-256 hash or the hash of the file, like we've talked about on the channel before, and you're going to verify that hash against the file that you're downloading, then you are trusting that developer is not malicious, right? So just keep that in mind. This hashing function doesn't mean that it's not malicious. It just, all this means is that the file that you're looking at and the file that you're downloading matches what the developer has posted as the hash for that particular file, right? We talked about this a few nights ago about the whole Monero wallet thing and the whole, so check out that video if you're kind of wondering what I'm talking about. I don't want to get into it again, but because I'll just go off. But all right, so let's see, where was I? So let's do a real quick little exercise here. We will go ahead and check a file hash of let's do Zel. All right, so if we go to Zel and we go to ZelCore, because that's their wallet, and then we're going to click download, and then let's see, we've got other platforms here. Let's just do Mac OS just for the heck of it, because I don't have a Mac, I don't use Mac, but we'll just do this just so that we can check the file hash, right? So I'm going to click download. I'm going to throw it into my downloads folder. All right, so now I'm downloading the DMG file for ZelCore wallet on Mac OS. And then down here, you can see there's a SHA-256 button or a link here. So I'm going to click that. And what I want to look at, so it's zelcore.dmg, right? That is probably the file name. You can go over here and look, and that is correct, zelcore.dmg. Now, if you were being really careful, you would also, I covered this a while back, but you would also go up here and check the security features of the website, right? Connection is secure, certificate is valid. You know, you didn't click on this link from an email or a text. You actually went to the URL yourself, zel.network in this case, and you know, it's spelled correctly. It doesn't have a 0 for the O. It doesn't have a 3 for the E. You know, all those different things that could you know, people could register a false website and then make you think that you're actually doing it or grabbing the wallet from the official website whenever you're actually downloading it from basically a phishing website that has tricked you into downloading a malicious software. So, so that is what you want to check for up there. And we're saying that it is ZelCore.dmg, like I was saying. All right, let's get over here. So that is the file name. You can also check the size, make sure that it matches. But in this case, I'm going to click SHA-256. This is the file I downloaded. These other ones are for the other wallets, like this is the portable wallet, or actually this is the portable wallet. This probably for Windows. It's got some other things on here. I don't know. Yeah, see, always check hashes and certificates prior to running software. Okay, so we are going to, this is the one we're messing with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that hash. Get out of here. And then we can go to the folder where I downloaded it. And in Windows, it's kind of neat. You can just type up here. You can say CMD for command, right? So you can open up a command prompt by typing in CMD, and it'll actually open in the folder that you did it in. So like in Windows here, in the Windows Explorer, because I was in downloads, it just automatically opened it up in downloads, which is kind of nice. And in this case, because we're using basically a command prompt, we're going to go cert util and then hash file dash hash file, and then the file name, which is, go over here and copy this. I think I'll be able to paste it in there. Oh, that's the wrong one. See, that would produce an error if I had done that one. So I'm going to grab this file name in there, and then it's SHA-256. We know that because the website told us, right? All right, so press enter here, and then we get the hash. Now this is kind of odd because I'm not going to be able to copy it because this is a command prompt. So I'm going to do it a different way, but we can kind of take a real quick glance at it. 2D19, we'll go 8218, 2D19. First four, last four kind of thing. 8218, 2D19, and then we could just glance over the rest of it to verify it. Or, I mean, we can't really use a comparison website like this because I can't really copy it from that command window, right? So I have to, there's another way to do it. So let's go to, instead of doing it through command prompt like this, close that, we'll go through PowerShell. So we go PowerShell, enter, it will launch PowerShell in that window, or in that location, which is downloads folder. And then we're going to type get dash file hash, and then the file name. All I did was right clicked right there because I already had it on the clipboard. And then I'm going to press enter. So this is the file hash. Now in the case of PowerShell, I'm going to be able to double click on it and go Control C to actually copy it, right? Copy it to the clipboard. So now I can go over to a function like this. Actually, there was one. Let's see here. This is not the comparing one. I had one that was comparing. I don't remember what it is now. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it real fast. No, that's not it. Shoot. I thought I had it. I thought I had it already up here, but I guess I don't. It was real simple. It just compared two numbers, basically. Let's see, compare. No. Let's see here. Calculator. I don't know. I had one. It was super cool. I don't know where it went. I'd have to look through my history and stuff to try to find it. But anyway, let's see. I think we might be able to use this. Maybe it was this. All right, so let's see here. So if I grab the file and I pull it up to this location here, then it's going to actually show us the SHA-256 hash. And then, I mean, if you want to get real archaic here, we could just fire up Notepad, right? I have the one copied. So I'm going to paste that one, and then I'm going to come in here and grab the one that we just generated, or not really generated, but we just we dragged the file up here so that it would hash it, right? And then I can paste that hash down here, and we can just eyeball it, you know, one up, one down kind of thing, go through the whole list. And capitalization doesn't matter in this case because I grabbed this from PowerShell. It's always going to be capitalized. And then I'm just going to go over here and look real quick. It looks good to me. Okay, so at that point, I would say that this was a valid file, at least in the sense that it is the file that they uploaded, that the developers uploaded to the website and provided the hash for. It is that file. But again, at that point, you are trusting the developer. You're also trusting the website manager, right? The website admin, because if they were to be malicious, they could put a bad file up here, right, to download, depending on the security mechanisms that are in place for updating the website. Who owns the logon credentials and all that stuff for getting into the website to do that. So that's how you would basically do that. And then they talk about some other things on here for security about the ZelCore wallet. So hopefully that kind of eases the you know, concerns with the ZelCore wallet. Maybe Crypto Z is in here. Let me see. No, it's just Yashnik, Crypto Mikkel. What's up, guys? I am not paying attention to chat. I hope y'all are doing okay over there. Nefarious, what's up, man? Are y'all talking about me? Quite amusing half sentences, Nefarious? What is up with that, dude? I don't know what you linked in there, Yashnik. What was that? Alright, cool. I don't know what y'all are doing. Yeah, I don't know if Shuby's in there. He hasn't said anything. He normally would if he was in there. Alright, so next up, let's talk about Conceal ID. I did a video. I was trying to show Conceal ID on the web or the cloud, Conceal Cloud. And it wasn't working because it was broken on the cloud. It was basically pretty much exactly what I was saying was wrong. It seemed like the field for the address was set to require an actual address, right? So it was like 98 characters or whatever. I didn't know if it needed to start with CCX. Apparently it was set to 64 characters minimum. So because of that, it kind of failed, like the whole sending from using the Conceal ID. It wasn't working because it was too short, right? So apparently it's fixed. So let's check it out. I'm going to have to log on and whatnot. Let me pull up my 2FA info here. All right, so I'm going to sign in. I'm definitely going to pull that to where y'all can't see it. All right, so here we go. So here is my cloud wallet. And you can see I've got some CCX in here. Oh, and I wanted to point out too, something that was brought up. So if you, when you create a Conceal ID, and if you're not familiar with what I'm even talking about, the show that I'm talking about, I don't remember what day it was. It was somewhere over here, right here. 2 days ago, I did a whole stream. It was only 41 minutes. It's pretty short for me. So it talks about Conceal ID and what it is, and basically it's, you know, one of the onboarding roadblocks, or one of the roadblocks to onboarding new users is that first time that they see what address they're going to have to use, like a private address or the public address or a private key, or their public address that they need to provide to another person in order to send and receive crypto. It's overwhelming. It is a shock, right? Because they're like, there's no way I can remember this. They can remember the username for their bank. They probably don't remember their account number, not the full number, maybe the last three, depending on how your bank is set up. Some people remember their whole account number, but they do remember a username and password, like we kind of talked about before. So what Conceal ID is it uses OpenID technology, which is, I think it's like open source, basically for using a username or some type of a username with an actual blockchain address or a public address. So that's what they're using. And they basically are using that technology in Conceal so that you can use a Conceal ID or a username, a simple to use, simple to remember, easy to remember username for your CCX address, for your crypto address. So that's what it's all about, and that's what we're going to kind of look at again here, because apparently it's fixed. So let's check it out. Where was that? Here it is. Let's get rid of that. All right, so if we wanted to send, I'm going to send, let's send from here. I think I should be able to send it to myself, although I do have I have this wallet open too. So let's do this. So what I'm going to do, actually no, I wanted to send, okay. So I want to send to this wallet because I think I sent a little bit the other night whenever I was testing. Maybe not. All right. So what I'll do is I will grab this address here. So I copied that address, and this is just one of my rigs personal, one of my co-owned rigs personal wallet, and we're not going to be transferring a lot, so it's not going to make a difference. But I'm going to copy that address. I'm actually going to send to it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And what I'm going to do, oh wait a minute, that's not going to work. Because I need to send from, okay, let me clean this up a little bit here. All right, so I'm a little bit tired. Give me a second. All right, so I want to receive CCX here. And that, if I go to Conceal ID up here, let me see if it shows what address. Yeah, it does. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to send to this address, or this Conceal ID. See how this links these two up, right? So I'm going to use that Conceal ID, which is easier to remember than this down here, right? And you don't have to send it through email or text and, you know, basically dox yourself or whatever, right? So if you want to be secure, I mean, this isn't very secure for me, but whatever. So let's go down here to the wallet, the desktop wallet. Let me minimize this so we don't get confused. All right, so I'm going to go to the desktop wallet here, and I am going to send. The address is going to be my Conceal ID, which is, whoops, what's going on here? All right, so we're going to test it the other way too, because this is what was not, actually it wasn't working from the cloud. So I'll clean this up. I just want to show you all what Conceal ID is about. All right, so I'm going to send one CCX, one full CCX. Send funds. It's going to warn you there's no payment ID, but you can see here, whoa, wait, what happened there? Did it resolve to that? Oh, you know what, maybe, let's see here. So I know I typed that in there and I didn't change it. So I want to see here. So it actually resolves it. VDH. Let's go over here. What's the actual address here? Yep, that's the address. So it has actually resolved it in the wallet. Okay, I didn't know it did that. So I guess that's okay, but I was expecting it to stay the actual Conceal ID address and not resolve like that. That's kind of, I mean, I guess it's okay, but it's almost like, you know, if you provide the Conceal ID to someone that you want to receive CCX from, right? But you don't want to really reveal your address, then it looks like it actually does reveal it. And it might be doing that because of address book entries, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I don't think I sent it, did I? Okay, so maybe it did that because I added an address entry. Because this is the address right here. Yeah, maybe that's why it did that. I don't know. I don't want to say that it is that is for sure why it did it. But I would assume you would rather have it not resolved like that. All right. Anyway, send funds. Okay. So I must have done that twice. Okay, that's okay. It's just one. All right, so let's go back over to the dashboard over here. Looks like I got one incoming, and I did already receive one because remember I started with 6 or 6.99. So this is the one that I just did, so I did twice. That's okay. But then from over here, if we wanted to, let's see. So let me send. Because I don't know how it works if you try to send it to yourself. Let's try it. Let's just try it. So I'm going to go send here. Send CCX. Address is going to be SavageMine.conceal.id. Okay. Then 1. 2FA. All right, cool. So see, the last time that we did this, that would never light up. It would never allow you to send it. It was red all the time. And it was because this field up here was set to 64 characters minimum, right? So it's just a slight overlook, you know, of the team putting this thing together. So yeah, so now we can click send. And that's basically sending to myself, which is okay. Close that. Yeah, see now, see how it says locked 3.8. Eventually that'll work out once all the blocks are confirmed and the transactions are confirmed. It should be good. Although I don't think I should have 8 in here. I think I should only have 7. But it might be because everything's locked because I'm sending to myself, plus I sent some from another wallet. So that's probably why. Okay, so it'll probably work out in a few minutes. Let me check the chat, see what you guys are up to. So yeah, this is working now. That's good to see. I like that. Yeah, I was talking to him about it. I told him about it. I sent him a link. The devs is who I'm talking about. I sent him a link to the video, and I think that I don't know if they watched it or not, but they at least saw that there was a problem. They probably verified it on their end. They're like, yep, it's a problem, so they fixed it. And of course, you know, if you're running like a web server, it's not instant, right? So you have to wait on replication. You have to wait on things to actually get through the network before they're fixed. Depending on how many servers they're running their website, their cloud website from, or cloud wallet from. So it took a little bit before it was actually propagated throughout the network. So it's good to see this working. I don't think I have to refresh or anything for things to start. I think it updates on its own. But in that other video, I showed you how to create your Conceal ID. So you can check out that video. I don't really want to cover it again because it's all in this video right here. I sort of just, because I saw the ZelLabs down there on that little graphic. That would be another thing that they could do with the OS, with Hashrate OS, is get another thing that they could implement or integrate besides the wallets is also the pools. Yeah, gears are turning here. Yeah, cool stuff. All right. Let's see. What do we want to do now, guys? We have... I don't think there's any girls in here. So let's see. I've got some... So I mined up a little bit of Aion here. So let's go ahead and we are going to stake that Aion that we have mined. We'll go ahead and do that on AIONPOOL.tech. I think they're still called that. At least their website. Got his little Christmas thing up there. That's cool. Alright, so let's go to staking. Proof of stake, and we want to launch the staking interface, which is basically going to take you to the OAN's website. And then from here, because we are doing it from a desktop wallet, because I want to do it from here, then you have to use the Keystore method. So what we have to do is export our Keystore, which I already have it, but I'm going to do it again. So you click Export Keystore. Let me cancel this. I'm gonna pull it off screen because I know that opens up into some crazy stuff there. So let me try it over here. No, okay, that's okay. All right, so I'm just going to dump it into downloads. So all I'm doing is I've got, let's see here. Let me cancel that. Cancel that, bring this back over here. All right, so go like this. Go in downloads, give it a name. I'll say main mining. That's not gonna work. Wait a minute, it just wants the location. So let's go to select folder. All right, cool. All right, and then the password that you want for the file. right, and then save. All right, so now I should have a Keystore. See here. Downloads, looks good. No, y'all can't see this. So there is the Keystore file right there. So now I need to go to the staking interface, but you can't do that part of it, I don't think, anyway. Let's see here. Yeah, see, if you, from the website like this, you really need to be using a ledger. All right, I do it both ways. I've got a ledger staking, or staking from the ledger address, and I'm also staking from some Keystore files like I am now. Now, typically what I would do if I was doing this for real, and I mean, I am going to do it for real, but if I was doing this, I would probably send this Aion to my ledger address and then stake from there, right? But since you guys probably might be interested in this and just want to see it done live, then I'm just going to do it that way. So what we have to do is we have to launch the, like if you click sign in here, it's going to take you down here. You have to actually download the staking interface, and it's a program that it's not necessarily installed, but it does get unzipped on your hard drive, and it's pretty large. It takes a while to do, but I'm just going to launch it because I already have it. So this is what it looks like whenever it's trying to launch. It takes a minute. All right, so now once this is up, you can see it looks almost identical, or it does look identical to the actual web interface, but it's a little bit different because whenever you click sign in, you get a different option down here for Keystore file, private key, mnemonic phrase. So we're going to use the Keystore file. So it wants us to drag and drop Keystore file there. Let's pull this off over here. Drag and drop. Minimize that. Okay, so it's got the Keystore in there. Continue. Wants the password. So this is the password that you created for the Keystore file. I totally messed that up. Talking and typing in a fairly complex password is not that easy. All right, so sign in there. If you get this far, you're probably in pretty good shape. You haven't done anything too incorrect until then. So it does take a minute to populate, or a few seconds. You can see the rewards that I've gained off of this address here. And I've got a 287 balance, and you can see that same balance over here in the wallet, which is what I'm actually using, right? Just through the Keystore file. Because remember, this is on the blockchain, right? This is not in this file. It's not in this wallet. So that's all you're doing. You're saying, okay, I have access. I have the credentials necessary to access this wallet, via private keys and passwords and all that stuff. So that's all you're saying by doing all this. All right, so from here, I'm going to click Delegate. I'm going to choose AIONPOOL because they have a relatively low fee. They're very active and they're excellent. All right, so delegate. I want to delegate. It says how much. I'm going to go full amount. And I'm still mining to this wallet. So this is what I've mined up over, I don't know, a week or so, whatever, however long it's been. All right, so you want to make sure down here that you are going to the right pool that you selected earlier. I don't think this is an issue anymore, but whenever I first did this, the very first time I chose AIONPOOL, but this drop down here had a different pool. So I'm glad I caught it at the time. I don't know why it did that, but I think that they fixed it in previous or future releases or subsequent releases. I think that I was on like 7.2, I think. So anyway, just keep that in mind. You always want to verify, double check, and all that stuff. So then I'm going to click delegate. Pop up with a little signed transaction thing here. Warning you, not warning you, but telling you what the fees are, which if you compare that to others. Now this percentage here is only for the reward. It's not, you're not giving away 8% of your total here. It's only 8% of whatever you make off of this from staking, right? You're delegating this amount. It's not saying that they're going to take 8% of this. It's 8% of what you earn on this. All right, so confirm that. Back to staking. So you should see in the dashboard, this will go away. I think. Yeah, the balance will go away. So if you go to account here, you can see the balance here. This is how much I'm staking through this address right here. And you can see rewards and everything. So now that part has been confirmed. And then eventually that's going to pop down here, and you're going to see this go to what, over 600, I think, in a few seconds. What did I do? What's wrong with my PC? Nothing at this point. Although I do have the parts, I have most of the parts to build a new PC, so it's going to be exciting times for me. So I get to build a new desktop computer for me. That's going to be kind of neat. Got my little Ryzen 7 3800X over here. That's cool. Memory I think comes tomorrow. I've got one of those NZXT H510i cases. This is going to be kind of like a themed build. It's going to be based on the First Order Stormtrooper from Star Wars, right? So this little guy's going to be inside, you know, and all that junk. So it's going to be like kind of a black and white kind of a theme. Stormtrooper build. So it should be kind of cool. I dig it. I'm just kind of waiting on the rest of the staked amount to show up here. Still sitting on 387. It should be over 600. So yeah, it's a Ryzen build. I got like matching memory, 3600 megahertz memory. Probably got too much. I actually got 32 gig. I don't need that much, but probably should have just got 16. But I might be running, you know, VMs and stuff. So I figured, might as well, you know, give me a little bit of wiggle room there. All right, so now you see that there is, there is 674 in there, staked amount, boom, good to go. So we're solid. So now I'm just gonna exit out of here. I can probably click sign out, there we go. Exit out of here. You can see eventually this is going to go away from the wallet. I don't know how long that takes, that's kind of weird. I thought that before it was already gone by now, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know, maybe Yashnik knows. Because it should leave here. Alright. And eventually that'll go away, I'm sure. Alright, so that's cool. That is cool. You finished a build there, Dan? Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I mean, it's been a while since I built my own PC. I mean, I build PCs all the time, but my own, I don't. I'm like that. You ever seen like, you know, a mechanic, right? A mechanic that works on let's say he works on pretty high-end cars like Audis or Porsches or whatever, right? So the mechanic, you know, drives up in a little, you know, Volkswagen Bug or something, right? But he works on Audis and Porsches and stuff, right? I'm like that guy. I've got an old PC. I build PCs for people and they're freaking awesome, but my personal PC is just not that great. So I'm kind of excited about getting at least into this century, not century, this decade. Actually, I'm kind of in this decade already, but we'll say the next decade. So getting into the next decade. So yeah, it's been quite a, this machine that you're looking at me on right now, or through, or however you want to say it, is pretty old. Pretty old. I'm surprised it's still running. Put it that way. Oh yeah. I did see that, Dan. You're right. But I thought you were building a rig for like mining Monero or something. But maybe I just got my wires crossed on that. So yeah, that's cool. That's a huge heatsink on that AMD processor. Pretty sick. This one comes with that Wraith, you know, LED Spire, I think is what they call it. So hopefully it's good enough. I'm not gonna be. I'm not like big into like overclocking and overvolting and all that stuff. I'll probably leave it pretty much stock. You know, I might play around with it a little bit, but hopefully that cooler is going to be good enough. And I'm actually going to use this GPU right here in that rig. I'm going to put the MSI 1660 Super into my desktop computer. I don't do a lot of gaming, even though that's a pretty good gaming card. But I don't do a lot of gaming. But I did want somewhat of a decent card, and I think that fits the mold for that. So. Should be pretty cool. I'll probably do some videos on it, maybe. We'll see. I've got so much work to do. I actually hung a 60, I think it's a 64-inch ceiling fan today. That thing was humongous. I think it's got, I want to say it's probably got 8 blades. It's a humongous ceiling fan. But yeah, it was crazy. It took me like 2 hours to get that thing done. But it's super nice. Super nice. Like I like, you know, with ceiling fans, I know this is like totally off topic, but I don't like a ceiling fan that like wobbles and stuff. I know you can like balance it and stuff, but I like quality ceiling fans that you just put them up and they're good. They're so good quality that you just turn it on. There's no wobble. It's perfect on all speeds. And that's what this fan was. This thing is freaking amazing. Okay, that fan fits on both. That's cool. Oh, you don't like the lights? I like the lights. I don't have a lot on my current PC, so I'm looking forward to all the LEDs or RGBs, whatever you want to call it. Should be cool. I don't know if y'all can notice here, but I am mining Aion still, so with this little rig. This is this MSI unknown right here is that 1660. I mean, look at the wattage. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But if you compare it to these versus the hash rate, they're all pretty close, right? They're all around that 2 souls per watt, if I remember right. They're all pretty close to that. And it kind of just validates, you know, whenever I say that, you know, there's really nothing like free, right? It's not, you can do a little bit of tweaking, but, you know, what you pay for the GPU is what you're going to get. I don't know of any GPU out there that's like just a monster on one particular algorithm. Maybe maybe a Radeon 7, because those things just, well, at least they were killing Monero and stuff like that before. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it just goes back to you get what you pay for kind of thing. I don't know. On the efficiency side, it seems like there's not one that's just awesome. You know what I mean? So yeah, are these pretty good numbers, Yashnik? Y'all have always talked about that. I guess they're pretty good. I don't know. If you want to hear what's funny about that, if they are really good, if this is solid like numbers based on wattage and stuff, these numbers, the overclock settings, you know where those are from? These overclock settings right here are from What to Mine. So if you go to What to Mine and look at, let's see here. If you just put your mouse over it, like those settings right there where it says using 150/500. So look, we'll go to the 1070. Using 150/500 with 75% TDP. Thermal distribution power, I think is what that stands for. So you go back over here, or no, thermal, what does that stand for? TDP. Golly, I always forget. It might be thermal distribution power. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, I could look it up, but I don't care that much right now. I'm kind of tired. So yeah, so you can look. Actually, that one was this 1070. Yeah, see 150, 500, 105. So this is probably right around 75% TDP. I've got a spreadsheet that has the TDPs on it, at least for my GPUs. I'm pretty sure that 105 is around there. And the thing that kind of bothers me though is, you know, I did those repasting, the thermal paste or thermal compound. And ever since I did, they're actually running like really high fan, like 100% all the time. So I probably need to redo it. Maybe buy some new stuff or something. I don't know. I must have messed it up in some way. Although the 1070s seem to be fine. You know, they're at 80, which is still a little high, but I think that's actually lower than what it was before I did the compound, the repasting. I mean, look at this one, man. This is crazy how efficient this GPU is. And that's that, again, that's that 1660 Super. Not even 70 watts, 20% fan. Just killing it. Yeah, super efficient. Anyway, but yeah, all these are blower cards. These are the Founders Edition. You can see them right here. So yeah, it's a 100% fan. So I probably need to redo those. You know what I probably did? I'm oftentimes too conservative with things, and I probably just didn't put enough thermal compound on it, if I was to guess what the situation is. So yeah, cool stuff. How long have we been going? Hour and 10 minutes? core, 1200 memory. All right, so let's look at that real quick. We'll do that. We'll change. So here's what I'll do. Let me pull up that spreadsheet. If I can find it, because I'm not in there all the time, but I think I know where it's at. It's actually a Google sheet. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, so hello. All right, let's see here. So 70. Actually, we'll just use the testing line down here. Let's see here. All right, so right now we are at, not that. So on the 1070, we're at 150, 500, 105, 203, 104. I'm never going to remember all that. Let me do one at a time. 150, 500, 105. 150, 500, 105. All right, and then the measured power draw is 105, and the hash rate is 203. I don't know what the TDP is. That sounds about, well, actually up here is the TDP a little higher, so it's 150 is the TDP for that particular card. All right, so we're nailing the TDP at 105. And the hash rate was 204, or souls per second, right? Souls, yeah, souls per second. Let's go here, 203, looks good. 104 on the watts. I don't know if I need to change that or not. So measured at the wall, 104, okay, all right, that's good enough. Pretty close, all right. So we are going to change it to what Yashnik said, which is, Dan, this is actually hash rate OS. Brand new, hot off the press. All right, so we are going to use 100 core, 1200 memory, and 130 watts. That's a lot of watts. Go to tuning, 1070 selected, 100, 1200, and then 130. Apply, update rig. Going to reboot. All right, not reboot. It won't reboot. It's just going to. Oh wait, that's kind of odd. Normally that has gone away by now. So I wonder. I must have a problem. Well, they're both pretty good. Hash rate is the one that's going to be integrating with ZelCore wallet, so I think that that is a cool feature. I like hash rate OS. I like Hive OS. I like Simple Mining too. So I'm easy to please, man. I mean, I like all of them. Actually, I got a rig off over here too. So I don't have anything on Hive OS right now. I'm only on hash rate and Simple Mining, and the only reason I'm on Simple Mining really is because of these two shared rigs here, these co-owned rigs. That I mean, there's a lot of reasons that I do this, but one of the reasons that I keep these two rigs on Simple Mining, well, one big reason is at some point I sent them like $50 worth of Litecoin to cover the whole year. So I gotta at least keep these rigs on Simple Mining for a year, right? So yeah, I cover the whole year for that. And but another benefit is being able to show simple mining on the live stream, right? And how to do groups and assign it to the rig. And they're constantly updating this thing. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff in here that if you look at some old videos of simple mining, they have none of this stuff up here, right? So they're really beefing it up as far as content and capabilities and stuff, as far as what's being displayed, right? But this is really, it's a simple OS. It's not nothing, you know, too intense or anything. Hive OS has all those, you know, cool features, cool graphics and all that stuff. Hashrate OS is like that as well. Although right now it's kind of hanging up. This is probably me. This is probably not them. So this is kind of odd that it did that. Let me refresh here. See where we're at. So it did take. You see right here, it did take. See, I had the same problem before. What was the problem? It's something I'm doing. Hang on. I think it had to do with the miner. Let me see here. Yeah, it is the miner. There's something wrong because this has 179. Okay, so let me see if I can remember what I was supposed to do here, because it was definitely something I was doing. Let's see. I'm gonna pause this. I want to pause the mining, and then I want to go to mining. Yeah, here we go. So see how it doesn't have the miner in there? I guess maybe it was updated and then it was on, because if you saw what it was showing back here, it was saying 179, but you saw in the config it was like 182, right? But then I changed it to 183. So you have to come in here to let's see, go to the rig and then go to mining, and then set it to whatever the miner is that you have selected in the wallet, right? So I think that this is something that they're going to fix as far as the interface, so that you can't do this very easily, what I just did. Yeah, I think that they're going to fix this. Let's see here. So if you click on edit over here, this is what I was talking about. And then edit up here. In here, I had 182. I don't know if maybe it's not in here anymore. It is still there, but for whatever reason, it was set to 179, gminer 179 in the dashboard, right? So that's what you saw right here. You see that right there. But again, I think that they're going to fix this. This is just something kind of goofy that I do. Just the steps that I take aren't. I guess they're not normal. I don't know. So anyway, so I'm going to click mining and then come over here and choose the miner and then apply to all. I think that goes ahead and kicks off the miner too, so I don't think I have to unpause it, right? I don't know. We'll see. But you can see right here now it says 183, so that's good. So because I changed the miner, it's probably got to download the miner too. So let's go to console. Yes, Dan, they do. Let's go to, let's see, was it admin? Nope, root. I changed my password, that's why it's not the same. We'll go miner. Oh, nope. I forgot. This is not the other OSs. So we need to go miner show. Alright, so accepted shares already, so it should be back up and running. This doesn't refresh but once every 30 seconds by default up here, and actually that's the earliest it can refresh. I hope that that's another thing that they change, because, you know, we're all like, you know, instant gratification and stuff. 30 seconds is just way too long to wait. Should be like 5 seconds or maybe even 1 second. What's up, club? Yeah, I'm drinking Fireball and sweet tea. see if we get some hash rate here. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of hash rate here, 1.29, so that's good. So we're back up and running, and you saw back there it was the Gminer 183, which is the latest version, so that's great. So if we go into the rig, see what we're getting here. So the last thing we did was we changed this overclock to what Yashnik was recommended, or what he said that he sets his to. So we're going to see what this produces. I'm going to give it a few minutes, or at least a minute of cranking up here, and then we'll bounce that on our spreadsheet, on our Google Sheets over here, and we'll figure out, I guess I'll probably put it up here so that we can kind of compare the two. This is what we were getting with my settings of 150, 500, 105, and we're going to compare that to what is it, 100, I forget now already, 1200 and 130. All right, so that's what his settings are. All right, let's see here. Do a refresh real quick. So it looks like we're getting 215, but it's costing us 131 watts. So let's put that into the spreadsheet. $131 and $215. All right, so if you compare your hash rate to watts, so solution, in this case, because it's Equihash 2109, we're looking at solutions per watt, right? So those settings on my card, you know, Yashnik, I think he has different GPUs, so this is not a apples to apples comparison. This is apples to oranges. But with his settings on my card, I get less solutions per watt than with the default, not even default, but the settings or the overclock settings from what to mine, which is odd, right? So I get almost 2 solutions per second. I'm sorry, solutions per watt using those settings right here as compared to Yashnik's settings up here. So I don't know what his solutions per watt are, but whenever you're spec mining and you're worried about profits, which we all are at this point, because it's not like it used to be where you could just turn on a rig and make, you know, $20 or $30 a day. It's a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more critical and pay attention to the solutions per watt. In my case, because of my cost of residential electric, where I'm at, it is 11 cents per kilowatt hour, which is not necessarily high, but it's a little higher than the national average. And so this solutions per watt makes a huge, huge difference in profitability. That 0.3 is pretty huge. So I'm going to go back. Let's just, for the benefit of the doubt here, let's do a refresh over here. Just make sure that we're looking at the same thing. So it's up to 216, it looks like now, at 129. Let's plug that in. And again, this is really, you know, kind of silly to keep going back and forth, but let's see, 129 and then 216. It's going to be a little bit better, right? So it's at 167, 1.67 now. So, yep. So see, I would stick with these settings down here on this particular GPU. So even though you're getting, my point is this. All right. So look, you know, it used to be like you would want to get the maximum hash rate, and the power was almost like a secondary thing that you thought of. But these days, with the way profits are, You really have to look at that solutions or hash per watt. It's important right at this point. So, you know, yes, this is more, I'm getting more solutions per second with these particular overclock settings, but it's also costing me more, right? So there you go. You're going to get a few more, you know, rewards, mining rewards, which is something you have to think about. You know, you have to look at it. Okay, so is it worth it for me to spend a little bit more electricity? Is it worth it to gain a little bit more, in this case, Aion per day? Does it make sense to mine 0.5 Aion more per day with these particular settings? I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm just throwing that number out there. So it's just all these different things that you have to kind of consider. It's hard these days, man. It's not like it was, you know, a couple of years ago, where you didn't have to worry about this kind of stuff. You just turn it on and let it rock. I mean, fire all the power at it that you can to get the most amount of hash rate, and just let it eat. And yeah, can't really do that anymore. So let's go back in here, and I'm going to change this back to my other settings. Yeah, or like Dan, you could make the power yourself. That's correct. That would be cool. I'm gonna go to tuning. I'm gonna set this bad boy back to 150, 500, and what was it, 105, I think. Apply, update rig, dashboard. It restarted the miner pretty quick. All right, so we're back to mining. Got hash rate here, so that's good. Go back over here and check it out. See, it is a little lower, right? The hash rate is, it should be, I think it was at 2, what was it before? It was at 204. So it'll probably creep up to around 204 over time. Right now it's only at 199, but it should creep up with those particular settings. See, there it goes 202 now. So it'll probably hit 204 at 105 watts, maybe even 104. And I probably could play with this a little bit. I could probably pull maybe 5 more watts out of each one of these and not really lose a lot. But I have done quite a bit of testing, so I think that these are pretty solid settings for this particular algorithm. So I'm just gonna let it go with this. Yeah. There we go, 204 at 104. So we're right back to 1.96. Oh, you're good, Dan. Keep it going, man. No one else wants to talk for somebody. For some reason. I guess people are shy for some reason. Yashnik must have left. So he's not even listening anymore. Nefarious hasn't said anything for a while. Crypto Mikkel hasn't said anything for a while. Crypto Mikkel, let's see if we can make you a admin. There. I'm gonna make Dan an admin as well. So y'all, y'all hold down the fort for each other in here. All three of y'all. Yeah, everybody in the chat is a moderator now. What's up, Yashnik? All right, so who's doing shots with me? That's all I want to know. I'm gonna do a fireball shot. So, but I don't want to drink by myself. So, who's doing it with me? Y'all can watch me choke on choke on it. All right, so while I go and get a shot glass, here's what I want y'all to talk about. What do y'all think about Hex? Start talking about it. Hex over there. I want to see some discussion about Hex over there in the chat. I'll be right back. All right, so none of y'all know about Hex? What? All right. Hex is Richard Hart's token on the Ethereum network. It's causing a lot of uproar in the crypto community right now because he's being accused of it being a scam and everything. It's being accused of being a scam, or he's being accused of being a scammer too. So anyway, all right. Whew. I'm not looking forward to this. That's a pretty big shot, actually. Got my little chaser over here. All right, cheers, guys. Thanks for tuning in and all that stuff. I'll try not to choke. I'm not a big drinker. I'm really not. I know I like pimp this fireball stuff, you know, not sponsored or anything, but yeah, I don't drink that much. Solid. Cheers, all. Man, that's rough. Woo! Yeah, so it used to be Bitcoin Hex, and he changed it to Hex. There's so much controversy. The thing is that Richard, I have to say it. I like the guy. I actually agree with a lot of stuff that he says about the crypto community, the crypto space in general. You know, there's a lot of things that he says that's pretty damn true, you know. But he's so polarizing, you know. You either like him or you don't. So, you know, he's got like half the community against him, half of it for him, you know. So, I don't know. We'll see. There's some now I got the hiccups. There's some things about the project that I find a little off-putting, not scammy, right? It's real easy to throw a scam out there, or the scam word, and I don't like to use that unless I have to, right? So what I am talking about is, let's just go to the website here real quick. So I've watched Richard Hart for quite a while. He kind of came onto the scene about 2 years ago, I think. It's kind of a crypto personality. He's got some history. He's got some issues, in the past. There's a lot of rumors. There's all kinds of stuff. But if you listen to him talk, like I was saying earlier, I really don't have a problem with most of the stuff that he says. I kind of agree with him on almost everything. We've gone back and forth in Twitter about certain things, right? Especially with regards to, gun control and stuff like that, right? So we've had some discussions about stuff like that. But I like the guy. I think that he says a lot of things that make sense. In this case, with his project here, Hex, it's one of those things that I don't know. I just don't know. I don't want to pass like instant judgment on it, and say that it is, some type of a nefarious project. But I will say this. All right, so right here on the splash screen here on the website, it says the first high interest blockchain certificate of deposit. Maybe high interest according to him, but we all know, if you watch the channel at all, you all know that Conceal does interest also, and it's basically like a CD, right? You got a banking thing right here, right? So it's kind of, you lock up coins, you stake coins, kind of similar to what Hex does, right? Now here's the thing about Hex. It was designed in a way mathematically to really pump, right? So that's the whole thing. And if you were to ask him, I'm not saying it's a scam. I'm not going to say it's a scam. There's just some things about it that are definitely benefit him more than anybody else. I'll say it like that. But if he's the creator of it, and he is, then why shouldn't he make a little bit of profit, right? Now in this case, you can see right here, there's over 21,000 ETH that have been sent to what's called the Adoption Amplifier Lobby, the AA Lobby. How much is that? 21. It's more than that now. This has got to be old, because 21,000 sounds like a little low. I think he's at 20, probably 25,000. Let's find out. Give me just a second. I gotta pull up an email here. That's got the links to the what I'm looking for here. Hang on just a second. All right. Okay, so it looks like I think that this is the actual contract. Okay, so this is the Hex contract on the Ethereum network. And I don't believe that you're supposed to send Ether to that. I think that whatever's in here, unless it just, yeah, I think maybe it just flushed. Okay, so maybe, let's see here. No. These are pretty small amounts here. 0, 2, 5. All right. Yeah, I don't think that that's the right address. So there's a. I'll explain all this in just a minute. Let me look for this. All right, so this is the flush address. All right, so you can see that there is 31,916 ETH that have been sent to this address. All right, so what is that? Well, that is part of the fundamentals of Hex. And it's basically the, let me find it here, right here, the adoption amplifier. So there's different stages of this whole project here. So you've got the initial stage, which is adoption amplifier, and the referrals, right? And the referrals, you know, a lot of people like to immediately go and say, okay, if there's a referral, then it's a scam, right? And I hate saying that word, okay? So, because I can't nail down that this particular project is a scam in and of itself. But the referrals are one level, right? So if I was to post a referral link in my description of my video, then I think I get 20% bonus and you get 10% for using it. I think that's the way it works. I don't know. I'm probably gonna mess the math up, or the percentages up, but it's some type of, you know, a little bit of percentage. And all the percentages and all that stuff work in Hex, not USD, not ETH. It's all Hex, okay? So you've got the referral bonuses. Okay, great. Yeah, see right here, referred users get 10%. And the referrer gets 20. So if I put my link in my description of my videos and you click on it and you stake, or you let's see, what would you have to do? Yeah, you would have to stake. Whatever you staked, you would get, I would get 20% of that as a bonus, and you would get 10%. All right. But the way the adoption amplifier works, this is the somewhat questionable aspect of this particular stage of the project, okay? The way that the adoption amplifier works is, and he'll describe it exactly like this. There's two buckets. There's an ETH bucket, and then there's a Hex bucket. And on the first day, they had to fill the Hex bucket with 1 billion Hex. So imagine 1 billion Hex over here, and then an empty ETH bucket, right? And then you send, if you want to transform, and this is where it gets really, it's kind of iffy on the terminology and how things work, whether or not it is going to be considered, you know, a security or whatever. Okay, so 1 billion ETH, or I'm sorry, 1 billion ETH, that would be awesome. 1 billion Hex, 0 ETH. You send 1 ETH to the ETH bucket, the adoption amplifier, and throughout the whole day, there was only a total of 10. So you're 1 plus 9, right? So now you own 10%. Well, at the end of the day, you get 10% of 1 billion Hex. Then also at the end of the day, those buckets dump and it starts over. Okay. There's a lot of math to this. He said it was supposed to launch like a year and a half ago, and it just launched this past Monday, I think was the first day. So it was a year and a half late because it is so hard to do. Like all this math and all the features and all that stuff. Okay, all right, that's the way he'll describe it. And so then the next day, that Hex bucket is going to have less, so it's going to have like 500,000 Hex. And then again, you know, you go through the whole adoption amplifier thing. If you send Hex, or if you send Ethereum to the Ethereum bucket, you get that percent of Hex out of the Hex bucket. I think that's the way it works, right? So the thing is that little calculation there entices people to send ETH to that address. And you see that over here in Etherscan. You can see it. There's 31,000, almost 32,000 ETH that have gone to that address. That's almost $5 million, right? Now, if you were to ask him, Richard Hart, if you were to ask him who owns that ETH or who owns this address, he won't tell you. And his excuse for not telling you is that if he were to tell you, then it would kind of make it, he would fail one leg of the Howey test for securities, right? Because you might expect a return. Okay, got it. I understand that. But that's a lot of money. That's almost $5 million in a bucket. A flush address that basically every day it just, or well, actually every time someone runs the code to flush it. And he said that he doesn't know who's running the code. I mean, he could run it. Anyone can run it, I guess. I don't know how that part of it works, but if apparently there's an option. And actually on the last stream that I watched him on, he didn't even know how it worked either, as far as how that function worked. He said he was going to have to go and look it up to find out why, because he was noticing that it was being flushed. You can see right here, it's being flushed like pretty frequently. Actually, the last time now is 2 days and 23 hours ago, but anyway, so there's basically 32,000 ETH sitting out there. Now it hasn't moved, so to his credit, it's not like he's just grabbing it and running off with it, right? It's actually just sitting there. If he uses it, if it's used for, now the assumption is that he has access to it, but I don't know about that. I mean, you can't prove it one way or the other because it is just sitting there, right? Is it his? No one knows, but that's just in the contract. That's how it works, right? Now, if he was to use this for marketing, if he was to use this, hey, what's up, Dakota Fox? If he was to use this for marketing, or if he was to use it for, bettering the project, although at this point, I don't think that that's even an option because according to him, the contract is written, it's done, it's been audited, it is out there for anyone to run. If they want it, if they choose to run it, they can run it. They can send ETH or they cannot send ETH. But that is the adoption amplifier, right? So you don't have to send your ETH to get Hex. The way that you could get Hex also is to, if you hold Bitcoin, you can claim free Hex. Okay, so you get, for every 1 Bitcoin that you hold, you can get 10,000 Hex, right? Okay, great. There's people that aren't going to do that, right? And then I think it auto stakes, if I'm not mistaken, it auto stakes for a year or almost a year, 353 days or whatever. It auto stakes, and then if you try to take it out before that auto stake period ends, then you get penalized pretty heavily on the total. So there's 2 things that kind of bug me about the whole project, and one of them is this right here, the flush address, the ETH address that has 32,000 ETH in it now. The other thing is the origin address. So the origin address is, I think it is a Hex address, and it gets it receives benefits from rewards, staking rewards and penalties, right? So like if someone gets penalized for an early withdrawal, like if they unstake early, and let's say they get hit with 20% or whatever, then they get 20% hit on them, but that 20% goes to the origin address. And the way I understand it, I think mathematically it basically works out to where the origin address always has control of 50% of the circulating supply. I think mathematically it works out like that. I could be wrong. I don't know 100% if that's true or not. But I do know that the origin address doesn't have to play by the same rules as all of the other addresses, right? All the other hex addresses that have to stake, and they have to monitor their stake and make sure that they restake at the end of their staking period and all that stuff. That origin address does not have to play by that. So those are two things that kind of bother me about this whole project: is the flush address, the ETH, sending ETH there, and then getting a certain amount of a percentage of hex for that ETH, and then the origin address. Those are the two things. Do I think that the project owners, the originators, the founders, whatever you want to call them, should get some of that? Sure. But that right there is $5 million worth of ETH already. And I think that it was 3 million on the very first day. So I don't know. I mean, you guys decide for yourself. Richard Art's done a lot of interviews. You can watch him. He'll stream for 8 hours straight, and he'll hit the troll box and he will answer questions. He's brutal, right? He doesn't care. He will literally stream for 8 or 9 or 10 hours straight, and he's done it many times. So I mean, again, I like the guy. I think that a lot of things that he says are true about the crypto community as a whole. There's just some things about the Hex project that I think are they're just a little bit over the line with regards to I'm only helping, helping the stakers, right? He only wants people to gain wealth and all that stuff. There's a little bit of things on the other side, I think, right? That's just the way I'll say it. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that much about it. I probably sound like I know a lot about it because I've been watching him for a little bit, but I really don't. I don't follow it that close. I haven't claimed any of my BTC. It's just, I don't know. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it, just for the hell of it. I don't know I know that Hex is actually on a couple of exchanges already. I don't know if we can find those very easily. I think it was Bybit was one of them. It's like a new exchange maybe. I'm not a trader. I don't even know how to use this shit. Let's see. If I wanted to search without having to create an account and shit, what do I do? Let's see. Trade. No. Alright, so looks like I would probably have to log in and shit, so I'm not going to do that. Let's see. Yeah, see, I clicked on assets. It wants me to log in. I kind of just wanted to see what, Hex was doing. I know it's not on like CoinMarketCap or anything like that because those take a lot of work to get listed on. And a new project like Hex would not be listed there anytime soon. So I think it's a whole lot of paperwork, and there's like minimums to time frames and stuff like that. Although they must have changed something recently, because this used to be 2,000 cryptocurrencies, and they quickly, within one day, they jumped up to almost 5,000. So that they must have changed their algorithm or whatever they use to determine what qualifies you to be listed, and it jumped up by more than 100% in one day, if I remember right. So take that for what it's worth. So if you go to the website, which is hex.win, he's got a video here. It's pretty short. It talks about, you know, about the project and why it's better than Bitcoin. It's better than, you know, pretty much any cryptocurrency out there as far as gains and all that stuff. You know, I watched a video of him versus, basically him versus Tone Vase and two of, I don't know if it's Tone's attorneys or whatever, but he did really well against him. I mean, in my opinion, he did really well. There was a lot of things that showed that maybe they didn't do any homework on this project at all. They didn't even look into it at all. But I don't know. I mean, the jury's still out on this one, guys. I don't know. I don't know that much about it. So it just seems like, based on what he's saying, it's not a scam. It's designed to look like a scam, according to him. You know, with all these crazy, you know, bonuses and all this stuff, and the way that, you know, even just the naming, you know, silly whale penalty and stuff like that. So all this stuff is designed to look like a scam on purpose, right? Which, okay, I can respect that. Whatever. You know, never before seen features. You know, all this stuff sounds like a scam. But if you look at the math and what it actually does and how it works mathematically on the contract, it's, I mean, I don't know how it could be, right? So I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm just, jury's still out on this one. No idea.
In the real world, we care about holding.
All right, so this is a few minutes, I guess. It looks like it starts at 10:50. I don't know why. Maybe he's got it sped up to that. I don't know. Let's start at the beginning here.
How's it going out there? Illegal drugs do you by a year? It's a small percentage of your expenditures per year. So if you look at the market cap of Bitcoin, which was 18 in 2011. Now it's 2019. In 8 years, just this year it went up 30%. It still needs to go up another 30% to get back to the all-time high that it had, right? And this is known as the most stable currency that you can get. It's so stable that the central banks of countries buy it to secure themselves against existential risk, right? So in Europe, you guys tend to have a couple of wars every once in a while here, last 100 years or so, and whoever held the gold got to recover the best when it was all said and done, right? So what do I tell this to you guys? You know, Bobby Lee come up here and told you, you know, don't sell until it's 700,000 a coin or something like that. It's a strong statement, right? It turns out that in the real world, everything is an S-curve. There's always something that caps your adoption. Nothing goes up forever. Could Bitcoin become $700,000 a coin? Sure. It's very easy to do if the dollar becomes worthless, right? Then 700,000 US dollars a coin isn't that much, because the dollar's not worth that much. You don't want to live in that world, right? You don't want the entire world to burn, but you have a larger slice of a smaller pie. The world's better off if we have larger pies. So my belief system, the best thing a cryptocurrency can do is go up in value, right? Crypto's been around for 10 years, just for fun. How many of you guys used Bitcoin today? This guy almost raised his hand. That guy raised his hand. I'd say there's maybe 100 people here, so that's 0.5% maybe used Bitcoin, right? Why? Because it's not that useful, right? If you want to buy something with Bitcoin, they can't rebill you, right? You can only pay them once. You won't push the payment. So that breaks any subscription model. Can't do it. Then that guy, if he wants to rebuy his Bitcoin, he has to pay, if he's on Coinbase, 0.5% fee to get in. Or he goes to an ATM and he pays a 10% fee to get in to replace his coins. Now, when he sends his coins to that company that he paid 1% to 10% to get, he can't charge them back if they screw him. And he doesn't get any reward points, and he can't do rebilling, which is the reason we don't have adoption for this stuff. Now, I tell you the truth about Bitcoin, which most people want to hear, do not want to hear, because all of you guys either own crypto or want to. That's why you're here, right? You have to understand that even though it can't cure cancer, it's still the highest, fastest appreciating asset that's ever existed. And that should be enough for you. It doesn't need to cure cancer. It doesn't need to actually do payments well. We're lucky that it does store value well enough. Now, how much is store value worth? Gold's worth $9 trillion. $9 trillion. A couple months ago, earlier this year, it was worth $7 trillion. It's up 30% this year. That's a lot of money. Do you think if you bought gold, you're going to get a 10x? Do you think it's going to go up to 90 trillion anytime soon? No, it's unlikely. Why? Because the larger economic mass that exists, the harder it is to move it, the harder it is to get really insane returns. Now, I got into Bitcoin and mined full blocks myself without pool, right? Because back then there were so few people involved that you could just turn your GPU on and mine as many coins as you wanted. That epic died very shortly after I got into it. It got very hard to make coins. It got so hard to make coins, you can't make them with GPUs anymore, which is a problem, right? If the only thing that Bitcoin does well is censorship resistance and appreciate, because most of it's for speculation, well, that means that having centralized miners control who can join the network is terrible. There's only 4 companies in the world that you could probably buy a miner from and attempt to be cash positive buying Bitcoin. And they're all, Bobby Lee says China's not where they're at. China is where all they're at. China's where all the mining's at. China's where all the manufacturers at. China's where all the cheap labor's at. China's where all the cheap electricity is, which is why all the mining's in China, on top of the fact that they have currency controls there, which make it so that you can't send money out of the country. You have a cap on how much you can send, unless you can get into crypto and get around it. And so it's the perfect storm of all of crypto being successful in China more so than anywhere else.
So anyway, you probably get an idea of how he speaks. It's pretty good, right? So yeah, just check him out. I mean, I don't know about this project. I'm, like I said, jury's still out. I have no idea. I don't want to play too much of that. I don't think I'll get in trouble or anything, but it's probably not copyrighted or none of that stuff. But I just want to show you guys like how he speaks and stuff is pretty good. And again, a lot of the stuff that he says I agree with. So, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of easy to agree with. some of the stuff he says. So where are we at? We're at, golly, 2 hours? Over 2 hours? That's insane, guys. What are y'all doing to me? Whew. All right. I think I will probably end it here. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Unless y'all can come up with something else to talk about. I don't want to talk about Hex anymore. Giving too much visibility to that. Man, we did a lot on this stream. We actually did a lot. And it was basically a lot of unplanned stuff, right? So like I didn't have like any, I mean I had a few topics I wanted to cover, but man, we did really well. Covered a lot. We went through hash rate OS on ZelCore. That's cool. We went through Zel a little bit. We went through the ZelCore wallet as far as the username and password situation, which I was hoping CryptoZ would be in here so that he can maybe feel a little bit better about the ZelCore wallet and the security behind it. And we also went through Conceal ID because we ran into that problem earlier in the week or a couple days ago where we were trying to do it from the Conceal cloud and it wasn't working. They fixed it, so I showed that tonight, how that actually works now. We also went through some hashing of files that you download, like on the wallets, and you would do that with miners or anything else that you download, and you want to verify at least verify the file structure, you know, before you run it. And then we also went through Aion and staking of Aion using the Keystore file from the wallet. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, we covered a lot, man. And then we covered Hex, for crying out loud. Yeah, we need to do that. I don't have a 1660 though. Dakota Fox, where are you at? Want to help you build a rig. YouTube watcher blacked out when he got home. I hope it was just from like drinking and not like some other problem. Yeah, I would, you know, if you want to hear some real talk shit, right, then listen to Richard Hart because he says some real stuff. There's a lot of people that don't like him because he comes off as a little cocky and all that stuff. He's, like I said, he's polarizing. You either like him or you don't, you know. But there's a lot of I've seen a few of the interviews, especially about Hex. Like if you were to watch the McCormick interview, it was brutal because McCormick, what's his name? I can't even remember his first name. He did not know anything. I mean, nothing. And he ended up just like leaving the chat and saying that he hopes that Richard like burns in hell and really bad things happen to him or something. I don't know. I can't remember what he said, and then he just left. And then Richard went off. I mean, he went off for like a few hours after McCormick left, and it was pretty good. So yeah, just I don't know. In my opinion, I think he's super smart, and you should probably listen to him. But about his project, I don't know. The Ether thing bothers me. You know, the address, the flush address here. But it hasn't moved. It's not like it's a like a straight up like send me this and I'm gonna jet, you know. So we'll see. I probably need some timestamps for this video if somebody wants to do that. That would be super cool. And there might be a little bit of, I don't know, Ethereum Classic in it for you. Yeah, these long streams, they kill me. On the timestamp side of the house. Sometimes I timestamp my videos, but not always. I probably should, because a lot of them are pretty long, so I definitely should do it, but I just don't. It takes a lot of time to timestamp stuff. What I should do probably is maybe like just have a little pad over here or something and just jot down like times and then what I'm talking about, and then I could do a timestamp pretty quickly, right? If I've got like a little pad over here that I write down, I need to start doing that. I think that's a good idea. Because timestamps are pretty important, especially whenever you go for as long as I go. So, yeah. All right, so I have had enough Fireball. I am okay. I hope y'all are okay too. Y'all are super quiet right now. I was kind of leaving it out there so that y'all would maybe say something that we could talk about. Gamers Nexus. All right, so I'll check out his timestamps. I will look that up and see how he does it. Yeah, I was kind of expecting make it red if it goes over. What do you mean, YouTube watcher? Maybe you could do that and make it red if it goes over. I'm not following, but I'm not that quick either, so probably making sense to everybody else but me. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, I can do that. But I can't do color in the description. I think it only comes across. I mean, I could maybe do some emojis or something, like if I go over a certain time or something, maybe. Yeah, I could work something like that out, maybe. That sounds interesting. But I just don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing timestamps. Although it probably hurts my videos and my channel and viewership and stuff, because people, they see a 2-hour video that most of the time they're not going to click on it because, for crying out loud, they're not going to sit there for 2 hours unless they know me, right? And then they can kind of skip around. That's why I like the longer videos. It helps quite a bit to have timestamps for sure. If the video is 10 minutes or less, no timestamps is probably okay. But if it's 10 minutes or more, and my videos go for 1, 2, 3 hours sometimes, so yeah, it's rough. So we'll see. We will see. Manual miners, you mean like on Windows? No, I don't. Because this PC doesn't even have a video card that would work. I mean, I could mine Monero on it. It's an i7, but yeah, right on, Dakota. Exactly. I won't lie, I haven't watched anything on your channel because of the link. Now, some of my older videos are short. I mean, you gotta get back there a little bit, but yeah, the live streams are always pretty long. But back whenever I was doing the random coin mining show, though, they should be, each of the random coin mining shows should be about 30 minutes, right? Because I was doing them before Brandon Coin went online at 10, so I was doing 9:30 to 10. Man, that's been a long time ago, huh? I have a lot of videos. Yeah, and look at this. I was talking about my machine. 6 months ago. 6 months ago, and I still haven't built it. I'm Johnny on the spot. Yeah, like back here, all these should be like 30 minutes, right around 30 minutes. Yeah, I have a bunch of videos. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I put in work for you guys. I really do. I mean, that's a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours. Just trying to get a little bit of information out there. Raptorium's coming up pretty soon. I think that they're going to be going mainnet pretty soon, so that should be interesting. Looking forward to that. Okay, so Dakota, you're building your first rig. What is your hardware situation? What GPUs and motherboard and processor and all that? What you got going on? Let me know. Hopefully you got an ASRock H110 Pro BTC Plus motherboard. I mean, it all depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah, see, that's like the immediate thing that everyone's going to ask. If you talk about that you're building your first rig, what hardware are you using? It's just the easiest way to help somebody, right? Okay, I got you on Twitter. All right, that's cool. Well, what are you on Twitter? Are you Dakota Fox on Twitter too? Okay. So we've talked on Twitter. I don't know. It doesn't ring a bell, but we might have. You know, like if you don't have your name as that, then maybe I could overlook it. I probably would overlook it. I mean. All right, so I don't want to make this too much longer. It's 11:51. That's 2.5 hours or so, right? Something like that. 2 hours and 20 minutes is way long enough. I'm going to get out of here because I'm going to pass out right here. Pretty tired. So yeah, check out all the stuff that we talked about, especially the ZelCore wallet and the hash rate integration, the hash rate OS integration. Check that out. That was pretty much at the top of the video. The rest of the video, I've just been rambling about nonsense. So just, you know, just go back to the beginning of the video and then maybe watch, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that, and you should be good. The rest of it, maybe. I don't know. If you're interested in like Hex or something, maybe. So, all right, guys, I will see y'all next time. I probably won't be live until Monday. Got some stuff going on this weekend, working around here and stuff. So I will see y'all probably Monday. Stay savage, everybody. And that's the wrong button. Here we go.